What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Funcast, episode 20. Jeez! Our guest today is Mycoblast. Many of you know him from the community. A lot of you run his genetics. I've asked him many questions about cacti. He's the scientist we all need and love. Thank you so much for coming on the cast today, brother.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Super excited to be here. Now bond over some funnel cakes maybe later too. We'll see. Talk about
Dude.
years.
Yeah, I mean, that's for later in the episode for sure.
Yeah.
They're not ready for the funnel cakes.
I know.
But man, how's it going? What's new and exciting going on in the life?
Yeah. So I was living in California for a little bit, for a little while. And I actually just moved over here to Austin, Austin, Texas. And it's going great. Yeah, I love it out here. So cheap compared to California. It's fantastic. I understand why they hate us coming over here, but it's so nice.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
What part, if you don't mind me asking?
I think I am not the best with geography, but I'm like southeast Austin.
Okay.
So like kind of like near the airport, which I had no idea, but there's like a bunch of like music venues here. So like you can literally just hear like EDM concerts like in our backyard, and there's all this like nature. It's fantastic.
Dude, I saw that you oh my gosh, sorry.
Oh, my little zoom in of like the
The
light.
little zoom in of like I can't be there right now, but I'm there.
Yeah, I'll
That's
be there
awesome.
next year. Yeah. Yeah, no. So
But
it's going good. Yes, I got a new job out here. And yeah, and just kind of expanding out now. More going into my tissue culture stuff, focusing on education also.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, let's get a little into the tissue culture stuff, man. That's something I've wanted to sorry, excuse me. Wanted to speak to you about for a while now, and I've dabbled here and there, like just asking like questions, but like I don't even. Where do I even begin? How do I even begin? I'm gonna kind of let you take the reins on this one.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, I mean, I always think it's great for mycologists to get into tissue culture because usually you already have like a flow hood, you have sterile technique, you know how to use agar, you know how to use a pressure cooker. So, for like tissue culture, it's all the exact same things. The only difference, obviously, is it's plant and not fungus. But the agar media that we use pretty much has like all of the nutrients that a plant needs to survive and grow, and then you can add hormones to that to like make the plant do what you want it to do.
Interesting. When you say make the plant do what you want it to do, could you go a little deeper into that?
Yeah, so like sometimes you're just trying to make like plants, right? So specifically like with like cannabis, I worked for a while where you clean up a cannabis plant so that it can get rid of all its viruses, you put it in that media, and then it grows into a new plantlet. Like that's the most basic way to do something, but
Mm-hmm.
every cell inside of a plant is a stem cell. So it can go like forward and backward, turning into all different types of things. So for like I do a lot of like biotech work. That's like a lot of what I do. And we actually will grow just the cells. So they grow into these giant like tumor masses. And then we grow that like in liquid, and you can like harvest a bunch of chemicals out of them.
Is that the solution that you like swash around with like all the whole like tumor of like cacti that's like in
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. So, I'm trying to, there's ways to either harvest chemicals out, or for the one that you saw, I actually poured all that liquid out back on agar, and then all of those little cells turned into new plants. So it was a
What?
way to make like hundreds and hundreds of plants through like a liquid culture.
That's like that's insane, man. That's some next level science right there. You're like I don't even know where like what?
It's cool, and it sounds like crazy, but it's something that you like anybody can do at their house. Like whatever you're into, if it's cactus or flowers, like you can do it. It's so easy, and
How
uh,
like how do you could you recommend, like starting maybe forums or videos or
Yeah, my YouTube channel, Cacti Fanatici. But there's a bunch of YouTube channels. Plant Cell Technology, they do a bunch of videos on YouTube also.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly, I did get a degree in like botany and stuff, but I learned all of my like tissue culture work from watching YouTube. I mean, like all my mycology, all my YouTube is really just like me reading papers, YouTube. So you don't have to like get any specialized thing as long as you like want to do it. Super easy.
Sounds pretty cool. It sounds like something I'd be interested in doing sometime in the future, but as of right now, kind of my hands are a little full.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Um, so that's cool, man. The move. So it's like now you're in a whole new area. Are you planning on doing any like forays out there? Is there much foraging out in Texas?
Yeah, there is actually. They have their own mycology society out here, and they're like really into like genetic barcoding work. It seems too. So I'm trying to join. I mean, I haven't joined yet, but I'm planning to join and probably go foraying. I went hiking a little bit over here at like the McKinney Falls area, and there were tons of mushrooms already
Nice.
popping up. Yeah, it's pretty humid, so like I feel like it's a great environment for some mushrooms for sure.
That's the only mushroom talk you guys are getting. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not too much going on. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. No, I mean, well, like honestly, I feel like the whole culture work that's so intriguing to me. Is that could you possibly maybe show us some fun stuff?
Yeah, I think
A little
so.
bit
Yeah,
about.
let me see. I didn't plan to stand up, but let me see what I can do. So, I think just some diversity.
Gosh, why are you wearing a banana hammock?
Yeah, right.
Just kidding.
Um, yeah, I mean, just to show. So, like, this would be like a really common thing. Like, people that are into house plants. This is just like a variegated monstera. You can
Nice.
see. Yeah, pretty premium. So again, it doesn't have to be like, you know, psychedelic cactus or anything. It can be like any type of plant. Super good for it. This is called strombocactus. I don't know if you can
That
see
looks
that.
cool.
Yeah, so you see like those blobs that are happening there?
Yeah.
That is like the start of callus that's forming. So then I
Okay.
can
What does
take
that
those
mean?
blobs and put it in liquid culture, and then it might form like a liquid embryo culture. And that's what I could like dump out and spray and
Oh,
make all those plants.
so that's just continuously just making cells. That cell is just that's basically just a cell that's like reproducing a lot.
Yeah. Well, specifically with this recipe, these are embryos. So like you can think of these as like making seeds that are already fertilized over and over and over.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like there's some that are like are normal, right? So they just look like that. And then these are like obviously like tiny little peyote that are in there.
Oh, cuties, dude.
Yeah, they're great. So every one of those little tiny white dots that you see that's on those plants, if I were to cut it up and put it back on that agar, a new cactus would pop out from that tiny little white
Jeez.
dot. Yeah. So the idea is I'm actually working with a conservation group right now, and they sent me out a bunch of seeds from like all of these localities, specifically some that are like super endangered or going extinct. And then I put them all on tissue culture. So I have honestly over 1,000 like in tissue culture right now. And we're planning to expand them so that we can send them back, replant them, slash offer them to like the churches and stuff as a sustainable way of consuming peyote rather than taking it from the wild. So that's like
Yeah.
that's long term goal, but at least the replanting should start hopefully within the next year.
Are you able to do this like tissue culture basically with like any cacti or like any plant?
Yeah, any plant. Yeah, you can do it with any plant. All plants are a little different where you might have to like change the recipe or something. Here, I'll show you one more that's pretty cool. Um, this plant, this is actually This is a bioreactor or like a temporary immersion reactor. So pretty much I'm growing these plants in liquid, just so you can see. These are actually vanilla orchids. And I have them propagating out like super fast by growing in like this liquid. So you can do any plant. That was like the main thing. So like these are orchids, those are cactus. This is actually, a completely different type of plant. You can do all plants. And honestly, like I love doing different plants. I've probably tissue cultured, I don't know, well over 300, 400 different like genus and species of plants. Um, I
But,
just, I love it. Yeah. They
uh,
look so cool. And they're honestly like, it might seem when you're looking at it, you're like, wow, that looks complicated. But like, it's easier for me to keep this container than to have to like water plants in these little, you know, containers and then they
yeah.
dry up and then all your seedlings die. Like, this has been in here since August 2nd of 2023. I've never touched it since then. It just
Wow.
sits in here. And honestly, it could probably sit in here for another 6 months and it'll be okay. And then whenever I want, I could either take it out and plant it in the dirt, or I could put it in gel and it'll just keep growing. I could cut it in half and then it'll grow two pieces. So it's a really great sustainable way to grow plants that are growing extinct.
Does this like as far as like I guess the speed of growth or anything, is that affected by, growing it in media over maybe like starting it in soil?
Yeah, it's definitely faster in tissue culture because the gel has everything that it needs versus the soil. Like it might have most of the salts and everything, but it's not optimum. It's like this is like optimum. You could never probably do better in soil than you could in like the gel.
That's cool. That's cool. So it's like, you pretty much have a year's worth of media basically, and then like all you got to do is just, you could arguably do like no pour tech, right? They just like put the agar in the container, pressure cook it, and then you just have sterile
Yeah,
media.
that's like a really common way that people do it actually. Is like they'll pre put it in there, then pressure cook it, and then yeah, you just use it that way. I show on my YouTube channel is like how to microwave media, how to just use like U-line containers. Like I'm all about making it super easy and affordable.
That's what we're looking for, right? I feel that's a big reason also why I wanted to have you on the cast, man. You're always sharing knowledge. And as far as like somebody who's like I feel genuinely qualified, as like a scientist, there aren't many, you
Yeah.
know. So it's always like it's cool to see somebody who's like while like deep in like the actual scientific side as well as like the citizen scientist, still airbox side.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I'll definitely like pre-say is like for a living, like my main job, I run fungal fermenters. So like I'm very seasoned in like the fungal biology and like growing it up in thousands of liters and um so yeah, but at home I know that that's not right as easy for everybody to do. So I like to show how you could do it at home and honestly, like it just translates well to make it affordable.
It's honestly great, right? Because like you have the qualifications and you have the knowledge that you can like throw down the Latin terms if you need to, right? It's like, but then also for the most part, like just getting to know you as a person over the years, you're so pretty much like the least, like it's you're casual about it. You don't flaunt it. You're mostly Harry Potter,
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's the best compliment. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I love corn. I started on corn. That's probably like why I
Me
like
too.
even like the tissue culture part of it. It stems from corn of just like it's so easy. You can find it everywhere. Like that's how like the education part started. Because originally, like I could not find rye. I'm always like rye is
Same. I still have never found. I don't know. I don't understand it. People who find rye, good on you.
Yeah, good on you. I never find it in bulk, or like it's always just like, Whole Foods to like make some like sourdough, and I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, it translates to like $150 a pound.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Um, yeah, no, so yeah.
Well, for everybody who also doesn't know, so Los Malos Elo Elotiros.
Yeah, los malos erotelos.
I'm bad. I'm
Yeah.
trying.
No, it's all
Uh,
good. It just pretty means like the bad corn man. Yeah, we make corn grain spawn. That's it. So
yeah. So they have like awesome corn as well as this thick. I love your logo. It's the coolest,
oh, thank you.
coolest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an exaggeration of me and my original like co-founder partner. So we always joke about it because I don't look like that much, and she does not look like that either. So it's always like a good joke. But I feel like we got it done in LA, and like like an LA artist as well. Um, so yeah, no, I love my logo too. Thanks. I like
Yeah,
your
no, of
logo
course.
as well. The Fung podcast one
Dude,
is
thank you. I shaved my
yeah.
mustache, so
Oh yeah. I mean, it's there.
it's there, but it's not as thick and long.
Prominent. Yeah.
But I mean, that's all right. Ooh, well, I guess that's a good thing to talk about. The fur fam.
Oh yeah. I know. I was like, of course they're barking. Yeah. No, I got two pups. Icarus and Penny. They were both like 80 and 100 pounds. They're nice size mixes.
They're good pups. I remember meeting. I think I met them right when last year
Potentially, or when we were like driving through, maybe.
when we I think we stopped
I don't
at
know.
some
Oh, when you guys came in the morning.
with the U-Haul.
Yeah. I remember.
Me, Miss Mush, Wumbo, I think it was.
Yeah.
That
I
was
remember. Yeah. You did
fun.
meet them.
I mean, when you're not doing like scientific work and studies, man, what are you doing for fun? What's you know?
I mean, I love to hike, swim, travel. I'm trying to travel a bunch this year. I'm trying to go to Colombia for sure this year. I have a bunch of family there. So like that's for sure happening, and I want to like backpack it a little bit for a couple days. Vietnam is like on my list also. Definitely planning to
That's
do that hopefully this year for like 10, 12 days. So I'm all about food, culture. That's my thing. Outside of like tissue culture, it is like culture, right? I have to be corny, right? So
No, dude, you're hilarious. Yeah, that was funny. I feel you, bro. I just got my passport for the first time ever. My
oh
hair's a
hell yeah! Have you used it?
no, I
Oh, okay.
haven't. I'm
Well,
that but got it. Yeah, that's the first step.
the hardest part, to be honest.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. I had to wait like hella long. I freaking arguably forgot that I even signed up for a passport, and then one day I checked my mail and I was like, "Oh shit! All right, look at me
And
go."
it's good for like 10 years, so
Uh,
good for a
dude,
while.
my passport photo is pretty goofy as well.
Um,
I would love it.
that's a good one. Well, what's on your list? What's the first
Um,
country?
I don't like honestly. I don't even know. I don't. That's not even. I have. I want to go to like. Gosh, is it Brazil? Seems nice.
Yeah. Brazil does seem nice. Yeah.
Um, but like I feel like I'm like a research guy, right? I want to do some research and actually find maybe some like I guess tourist attractions to go to, maybe like the black sand beach or like the beach that has a bunch of different like rocks on it. All
Yeah.
those like TikTok places seem
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not even gonna front like, but I don't know, I'd like to go like freaking A. I mean, I want to go to Puerto Rico. That's not even. I don't even need a
Oh yeah, I
passport.
mean, you didn't need a passport, but I'm half Puerto Rican. You should definitely go. I've gone to Puerto Rico a couple times. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like I just
and it's kind of like Florida, so it wouldn't be too culture shocking. And they speak English, so
dude, I mean, it's like
baby step.
baby steps. So it's like that's it. I don't really know. I don't have any like plans to travel right now, but I
Yeah,
just want to be able to, so I did it to do it.
for sure, for sure. Well, definitely, I'd say like put Mexico on the list. I feel like it's a great first country for people to visit.
Yeah,
And they
no,
have a bunch of like mushroom stuff. Like you can
that
go
is
on
definitely on the list.
is tacos. I mean,
I mean,
say more, right? Like,
whew. Yeah,
yeah.
no, I mean, I go. Dennis is always out there as well for
Oh
Micah.
yeah.
Maybe meet up with him. I could imagine, running around Mexico with Dennis could probably be a blast.
Oh yeah. An adventure, I'm sure, right there. Yeah, no, that'd be great. Yeah, and he knows all those mushroom people, so
You know,
perfect for some ecotourism.
you going to any more events this year, brother?
Um, there's an event in Austin that I don't know the name of, but I'm gonna go to that. I'm pretty sure, probably with a Twisted Tree, maybe.
Nice.
So I'll meet them up there, and that's kind of it for right now. I mean, unless another Entheogen Expo is like popping up or something, but like I don't know of any event coming up other than I'm not going to the like SciCon that's coming up, but I don't know. Well, some other events popping up.
Well, I don't know, man. I'm gonna go to the Oklahoma Fungi Fest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that one, I'm definitely, definitely gonna go to that one. And then there's a like, Mycoalchemy is having a kind of like event for the homeless people, and
Yeah.
that's like a week after that. So then I'm gonna like be a speaker at that event
Yeah,
after.
awesome. Cool.
But pretty much those two, I'd say for now. I was considering doing SciCon, one of the SciCons. I think the one in Colorado because I've never been.
hmm
Maybe that would be like a kind of like a two birds with one stone kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been there, but I heard it's super nice.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who I've ever like, Colorado is like the place. It's like gotta go
Yeah.
to Colorado
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's like why it's great. Fuck
And
yeah,
it's either like the Californians move to Colorado or to Texas. So
dude. You know
yeah,
what I just thought about? You coming skydiving.
I know it is on the list. It's on my bucket list.
Dude, I was talking to Edwin, and he said that you said you're down to
I
put
I am
you on the
down.
spot.
I'm down. I'm down. Especially what we should do is do it in Puerto Rico,
Yo, I'd totally be down with that. He
right?
seems like a
Talk
nice,
about like two
nice
birds with
guy.
one stone. Yeah.
Um, for sure, man. I'm down. Let's do it. I've never been skydiving before, so
Yeah, yeah, sure. It's like, what jump are you on right now?
210.
That is crazy.
It's fun, man.
Though that makes me feel better. It's like you jump 210 times, you're still here. It's like I can jump one time. I should make it.
That's how I feel. Just like I think about some of these guys that have like. There's a guy. His name is Range, and I think he might have, if like, the most skydives in the world. I'd say he hangs out in Sebastian, and he's got like damn near 37,000 or something like that. And he's like just a badass, like old German guy, and just skydives for a living. And he's like, I'm gonna take it easy this year and only get 1,000 skydives.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, it's like, dude, that's still like 3 times a day. Like
Yeah,
more. Yeah.
but it's pretty cool, man. Um, so like as far as I like the whole thing where they're asking you to, help with plants that are going extinct. Um, is that the first kind of like thing of that nature that you're or like project of that nature that you're working on?
It is, yeah, yeah. For me, it is. I mean, people use tissue culture to do this for sure, but I think because of like the legality with certain plants and stuff, it just kind of hasn't been done. And unfortunately, like it's at a point where like it needs to be done, or else they will go extinct. So that's kind of like why I'm doing it. And I am a great tissue culturist, so I feel like it goes great to actually pair it with like conservation than like just monetary type of plants.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Are you? Is there like you allowed to talk about the plants that you're like? I
Yeah,
guess
I mean,
like,
yeah,
how
I
you're
mean,
working.
honestly, so yeah, I was gonna say like most of them are like what you would say like peyote, but like they're like diffusas and stuff, so they're like free of mescaline, so they're like technically legal. And then also like it's not just those type; it's even like Areocarpus. You have like a really nice one, I'm pretty sure. So like those are super endangered, so I have some of those in tissue culture as well. Astrophytums. So it's a bunch of different one, but pretty much those are my three like focus that I like doing cactus. So it's like the Lophophoras, the Areocarpus, and the Astrophytum, and all super like endemic and endangered of Mexico, like Texas, Mexico area. They're pretty much only found there. There's a lot that are like grown in Asia and stuff, and those are pretty much like sustainable. They're grown from seed. They're other than the ones that were poached, but like the ones that are grown from seed. And it's super easy to propagate. I don't know if you're into grafting at all, but like they
I was
graft
gonna actually ask
super
you
well.
grafting
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, yeah, grafting is my favorite. Usually like that's the second phase of tissue culture. So like I'll grow a bunch of them up like really tiny and then I'll graft them on like Paraschiopsis or like a San Pedro. San Pedro is my favorite. Um yeah, and then they plump up. I mean, I've had them like they're like this little tiny thing and then within a year they're already like this big. They have like two or three pups on them, flowering. Like grafting is the way to go, and it's super sustainable way to like cultivate. And I'm throwing this out there and I know I'll probably get hate, but like there's a myth out there that if you graft your like Lophophora onto like San Pedro that they like lose all their potency. It's not true. What's most likely happening is like that size that you're seeing is actually a lot of water weight. So it's just really diluted. But like if you were to ungraft it, have it grow back on its roots, it would return back to like its concentration. So like it is diluted, but like it's not like, oh, it's a useless plant. You just have to like take care of it, right? To like the next phase if that was something that you're interested in. Um
Well, it's like from I don't really know too much about it, but as far as I'm, my understanding about grafting is you're taking a cactus, like a baby cactus, and you're placing it onto another fully grown cactus, and like you're like pretty much, connecting the spines of the two plants, and now the top one has the growth rate of the bottom one,
yeah.
which may not, so it'll grow faster than what it would normally grow per se, just from, transferring it from tissue to soil.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So pretty much like that giant like totem cactus is just like pumping sugar and hormones and food up like super heavy so it can grow really big. So when you put that other plant on top, it's just getting all of that and it pretty much takes in all the growth. And the reason you're seeing like it pup so much is cuz like that upward growth is so intense that the hormones start to go this direction, so the growth pushes out that way, and that's why you get like the pups that form on the ends.
That's cool. You
Yeah,
see, I didn't
yeah,
know anything, like about
yeah,
cactuses. I have four out back, but it's just like they've been pretty much in the same like, substrate slash soil for like 3 years. They're just
yeah, yeah. I mean, like that Areocarpus usually. I mean, people don't repot them for like 3 to 5 years. They're not really fat. I don't know if you've noticed. Like, probably didn't grow that much.
dude.
Or
Okay.
maybe like,
No. Well, like it got to the point where like I had this cactus for like 3 years, and for the most part, like it really didn't grow like a lot. I took photos periodically, but I had to like go through the books and I guess I might even be able to pull it up. It's grown a significant amount if you look at it from like when I
say,
first bought it to now, but it's still like really slow, and it only started flowering like last year. I've
yeah.
only I was like so when I got a flower, I literally was so stoked I got it tattooed on my leg.
Oh, that's great.
it's
That is
a
great.
it's a tattoo of my first ever Areocarpus flower.
Oh, I love that. I have
But yeah,
a I can't bend my leg up like that, but I also have like a giant like peyote flowering on my calf.
nice.
Yeah.
It's like I got like a couple of tattoos as far as like mushrooms and you know first ever the 100 gram club.
You see this bad boy?
Yeah,
Had
is
to
that
get
a
that.
flower?
That's the corn on the cob.
Oh shit,
Let
dude, that's fucking
me,
sick.
let me get
I
a little closer. I can't believe you said it was a flower. Now
dude,
it's like a
wow,
real life.
that is so awesome. You really are the corn man,
I'm telling you,
man.
I love corn. I eat corn all the time.
I love corn as well, but I heard so. All right, I guess this is a good kind of thing to good good transition, right? I feel
Yeah.
so. I've always heard that corn is an empty food, like food. It's like it's like an empty like there's no it's an empty calorie, I guess.
Mm.
As far as like nutrition, there's not much there. So where I'm going with this is like, well, I guess first off, how do you feel about that?
I find it to be very untrue.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, corn has like a really great ratio of like starch, sugar, protein like in its grain. It's the foundation for so many cultures' food, so like that doesn't make sense either, right? Like
Yeah.
tamales and like
I mean, no,
everything.
I like it's like corn is
Yeah.
in like everywhere. It's
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of hate that comes to corn because it's like super associated with like genetically modified crops and like Monsanto. So like there's this like automatic like built-in hate for corn. It's also like a monocrop where like it's just fields and fields of it. So like there's so many places that people like hate on corn that I think it like carries to like even like the nutrition and like trying to tear it down as like a food staple. But like in my eyes, that's like impossible because of how many cultures are using corn, the variety of corn. Like maybe if you're talking about like just general corn, like it's maybe not as nutritious as like a wild type corn that has different colors in it, right? Those are different antioxidants that are in it. Plus like I grow mushrooms on corn. They fruit directly on the corn that we have. Not I mean like that's not the way to do it, but like when it fruits
yeah. If you ever
directly
leave
on
a bag, like
grain,
you know,
yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. Like that's proof right there that it has a composition of like sugars and proteins and nitrogen to be able to build up that fruiting structure. So I would say I disagree with that.
well,
Yeah.
fair. Then I feel like there was no second part to that because I think you
I'll go into a second part. I'm down for like make it a little spicy. So like another part that people hate on corn is that they think it's sprayed with pesticides.
really.
I get so many messages all the time that are like glyphosate, and again, this has to do with like the GMO fear mongering type of thing.
I recently heard about glyphosate and like that whole thing where like you basically like spray it once, but then you have to like it's like drugs for plants base, and then like you can't not grow without it after a while.
It's not that you can't grow without it. It's just like it's super effective in growing large amount of food for like a big population. So like it's I understand like the negative parts, like when they do overspraying, they're not spraying the right amount, they're not washing it right. But specifically, glyphosate like decomposes really quickly. But bringing it back to like the mushroom business, all agricultural crops are sprayed with glyphosate. Milo, millet, corn, rye, anything that's in like an agricultural, if you're buying your grain in 50-pound bags, definitely went probably through that process. And it has such a low boiling point. Like by the time you boil your grain or you autoclave it, it's all degraded. Even if you put it in there on purpose, like you put your own like heavy amount, our processing that we do to like make grains destroys almost all of those things. So it's not really a concern. And if it is a concern, you should be concerned about all of them. And then you can only use organic, non sprayed, and it just doesn't become accessible to everyone. And that's like, that's where I'm always like accessibility. Like if you have too expensive of things, makes the
Yeah.
medicine too expensive or food too expensive, then it's not accessible to everyone. It's only for like upper, first
Well,
class.
like the accessibility, right? Like I think that's the whole thing where like it's all grain at the end of the day. People, if it's a grain, it can be used as, to grow mycelium on it. At least from, all of my experience. I don't know. I've seen everybody fail and I've seen everybody succeed with everything.
I have a question for you. Somebody asks me all the time, and I've never seen someone do it. Beans.
Never. I've never done beans.
Me neither. And I don't know why in my head I'm like, no.
Dude, like I think it would get, I don't know, maybe I want to say, so there's been a rogue bean in my Milo,
Okay.
and I've always put it in the bags.
Does
So
it? Do
like,
you ever see it? Have you ever colonized and saw it consume it?
well, I mean, like it's bags. Like
Well, I guess
I
it
have
must have.
100%. This is like I have 100% sold somebody a bag of Milo with a bean in it because I just put the bean in as like a
What's the
good luck bean.
lucky bean?
So I know it's been successful.
Yeah.
I just don't know where.
The question is
And
100% bean.
I think it would be if you like hydrated them enough. Um, because like, but like I don't know, you gotta like really boil that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like either it's gonna, I I don't. I would try it out. I'd try it out. I'm gonna try out some
No,
beans.
maybe that'll be the next product drop. The bean
Like,
bag.
oh, no, we can't. Like, actually, don't try it. Definitely don't try it because I can't have like beans go up in price. All right, I've already
Oh,
had
that's
grain go up in
true.
price. I'm just kidding. Beans, I've tried it and it doesn't work.
I second it. I second it.
um, like, yeah. So it's like I've always wanted to do. So there's something I don't grow in CVG. I've never had success with CVG. Well, just
Mhm.
straight CVG. I
Yeah.
use CVG manure. But like, do you feel like the nutritional value difference in each grain is significant to the way like that culture will flush?
Um, like, do I think there could be like a certain grain that produces the best? Is that what
I
you're asking?
mean, I don't know. I want to say like I guess I don't want to necessarily say the best, right? But I want to just like this is something that I've always thought about just as far as like anything goes, right? It's just even like as a human being, me eating like a certain amount of like I guess protein from red meat or I guess like poultry. It's like the lean versus like the I guess like the fattier meats, right? Or like same amount of protein but different. So it's like I wonder if it's like the grain, like the difference of the grain is significant enough to actually even make a difference in the flush. Is I guess what I'm asking. Like, is
Mhm.
like obviously there's going to be a difference just because of the fact of it's a completely different plant,
Yeah.
but is it like enough in your opinion? I'm not because like I don't know. I see everybody flushing with like a whole lot of everything.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say like flush. Again, like this is me being super biased, but like if you were to grow everything in the exact same condition and use like different grains, from what I've seen, it actually seems like corn is potentially a superior grain because of the high sugar content, which obviously it was bred for. Like, that's why we love it too. And then the nitrogen content is supposed to help with increasing certain metabolites. Again, I don't really think it matters. Like, it's like the difference of like point something and point something.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, and again, take it with a grain of salt because I'm a corn man, but like corn is potentially, but it's the sugar content. So like you could just
Yeah.
look at like how much sugar is in each one of the grains, and whichever grain has the like largest sugar or glucose content most likely is going to give you the best chances of having the best flush, right? It's not going to run out of food because that grain has like the most amount of food that it could have. So my answer would just be like whatever grain in the world has the most amount of sugar is going to be probably the grain that would work best for you.
I think that is a solid answer, man. And
Yeah.
that's even something that like I'm also just gonna like start looking into and even just trying to mess around with. I've
Yeah.
been using
But
myelin for the longest
but I would
time.
definitely say like people that want to like work on it, like don't give a crap what grain you're using. It's the water content. Like people not using the right amount of moisture in their grain, in my opinion, that's the worst thing in the
Or
world.
too much.
Yeah, like right, the content is off. Like if it is off, that's kind of what's going to ruin your flushes as far as like it being tiny, it being big, it taking longer, like having the perfect moisture content is like the key to like the schedule going the way it's supposed to.
Field capacity, right? I guess you could say,
Yeah,
right? Does,
exactly. And the grain and the
does that
substrate.
does a field capacity apply to grain as well? I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like it
I mean,
makes
it's just a
sense.
word, right? I feel like we
Yeah,
could just put it on anything.
I'd say it's like when I say what I feel like field capacity is to me is like super saturation. It's like to the point where like if I squeeze it, it's going to like break. Like if I squeeze my substrate, it's going to leak, right? If I squeeze my grain, it's going to like pop, but it's not going like it and like it's not going to like pop like it's not going to be too mushy, but it's going to be fully cooked.
Yeah. There's
Excuse
no
me.
white pith anymore.
Yeah,
Like in
the
the middle of
little white dry, like if you squish your grain and there's a little dry little spot, that means you could have cooked it a little bit longer.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
At least for yeah, like for our grain at least for sure. Like it needs to be you have to put your like finger through it before like it could be good.
trick tip, guys. That's just valuable right there.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, so what like what kind of foraging have like wild foraging have you done? Like what's your do you have any spots I guess back home now at that point that were your prized possessions?
No. I have horrible foray luck. I have never in my life seen a morel in person other than like
Same,
at the grocery store. Yeah, I've never eaten one before.
same.
Like I've never come across like a lobster mushroom. I mean, the oysters I find I wouldn't eat. They're disgusting. Like I find a lot of mushrooms. Oh look, my timer just went off. But I like find a lot of mushrooms, but like I don't eat any of the mushrooms that I find. I do like culture a lot, so like I have a library of like chicken of the woods, blue, pink, lion's mane, like shiitakes, like anything that I find, I like to clone out. I'm also working like what I work for is like a myco remediation type of company, so like kind of like scavengering, certain strains in different environments. So I'm all about foraging and collecting, but definitely don't have spots. I don't have good stuff. I just kind of walk around. I'll pick it up, identify it, throw it onto the next.
That's
Yeah.
it, man. That's how I do it as well for the
Yeah.
most part.
And I still have like, I mean, I have like 10 field books. Like, I feel confident in identifying it, not in eating it. I don't know. I'm just like, you never know. But like, if I grow it, I'm like, oh yeah, I grew this. I know what it is.
That's, yeah, I guess it's true. I think that's why I'm big on telling people, like, even if you're like in Facebook groups and you post to like a mushroom that you found that could be, whatever. It's always, do your due diligence, take the spore print, like wait a couple of hours. It doesn't take like a crazy long time to see some spores. Um, and like, life or death, depending on like some spores or like at least a pretty shitty night. It would
Yeah,
be pretty
yeah,
terrible.
yeah, definitely. And to lead into that too, like if on my YouTube this year, I'm planning to like showcase, this is like a little more advanced, but like if you find mushrooms, is like how to do a DNA extraction at home and then how to do the sequencing and mail it out and get those results back. So like if
Really?
you're at home, how would you do that? How much does the equipment cost to do it? And like how much would it cost to do per sample, right? So like that's my goal this year for like my mycology mission of like 2024 is like the DNA sequencing and like barcoding and to have that on an open platform so that anybody can do it. So if you are finding these like even these different psychedelic type of mushrooms and you don't know exactly what it is, this is how you would do it at home. And I know there's already a bunch of people kind of doing
Oh,
that type of work, but like I feel like there can always be another, right?
so I want to say, I guess like might as well just get that, like say that, like how can people find you? What you know.
Yeah, yeah. So Mycoblast on Instagram. Uh for my cactus work, which I'm kind of like mostly focused on, I have a YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon, all Cacti Fanatici. You can literally just Google it and it'll pop up. And you can like learn how to do tissue culture. Um, yeah, it's mostly tissue culture. I'm gonna probably start doing some like medicinal mushroom stuff. I have a couple like reishis and things here as well, but for like the YouTube, definitely staying in like kind of mostly tissue culture. And then Los Malos Eloteros, if you guys want corn, you can definitely find that on Instagram as well. Um, but
Corbett
yeah,
itself.
definitely it's going to be mostly the yeah, exactly. It's going to be mostly the cactus stuff that you can reach out. And we do, I'm also starting to do a little bit of like plant importing and stuff. So like we're starting to actually like carry some plants and stuff. And like
That was like
all
I
the
was
plants that I do tissue culture, we're trying to offer eventually. So sometimes you'll see on my sites and stuff like, oh, here's some vanilla plants or here's some like cactus that we have that we're offering. So Instagram's the best place to definitely reach out to me. But I appreciate YouTube and Patreon also. So
give a like, give a follow, give a sub. The
yeah,
man knows what he's talking
comment.
about, and you guys will definitely learn how to do the things that you want to do. I think it's cool that like this community is also like I've mentioned this in a couple episodes, but we're all into like very similar things as far as like the plants, homestead, the entheogens, you know, psilocybes and all the wild things. So um, it's like while we may like learn through one subcategory of this like large community of like psychonauts, arguably.
Mhm.
But like with like melts into the other categories, and then like you start to slowly see all of the friends getting into all the same hobbies. So
Oh
it's
yeah, I say like cactus is the natural progression for mycologists. I don't know what it is, but like cactus call to the mycologist and vice versa. Cactus community people are like called to the mushrooms. Like there is something
well, I
going.
mean, I guess like, and I, in my just thinking about it right now off rip, how many other communities out there work with culture? Um, Maybe a lot, but I guess cactus. I guess you're all your plants in general.
But there's not really that big of a community. A lot of tissue culture, and even me, I wouldn't say like I give away everything on my YouTube, right? But like there's a part of it that's like the art form and stuff. So like with tissue culture, unfortunately, like that turned into like complete gatekeeping and like being like secretive. And like you were saying, like there are other culture communities. They're not about sharing. They're not about like community. And like
Really?
from my experience, yes, like it's very more about like competition and like even, it's just like not friendly,
That's
but it's
lame.
slowly changing. I feel like now tissue culture, there's more like Instagram accounts. I feel like Instagram honestly has like built a community because it was able to put everybody together when we were like all separated, being kind of like weird. Now we're like weird together.
Yeah, it's like, all right, come on, you're weird, I'm weird. Let's just be weird.
Yeah.
And we're all at the end of the day like working in fucking closets, working with like
Here.
sterile, like in still air boxes, working with culture. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's cool though, man. That's cool. Gosh, well, I don't even know. I wanted to ask, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oreo.
Oh, Oreo off rip.
Cookies and cream.
So cook like a McFlurry? What are we talking?
I mean, if there's an Oreo in it, I'm there.
Oh
That's
shit.
that's that's all it takes. Yeah, like a McFlurry, an Oreo. I
Ooh,
love honestly a nice plain vanilla with Oreo. Like that's just like so refreshing with a glass of water.
with the glass of water. Full
Doesn't ice
circle back.
cream just like make you want to drink water? I don't know.
Um, well, like, all right. So I used to want to drink milk, but I don't drink like animal milk anymore. Now I drink plant-based milk. So I'll drink
Uh,
like a nice cup of milk. But like we're going full circle, baby. We're going right back to the funnel cake and those elephant ears,
oh,
dude.
I know. I know. So yes, you didn't get you just so first
I
off,
did not.
you went to the carnival. You were gonna go for a funnel cake, and I told you to check out the elephant ears. And you never heard of it, but you got to see it.
I did. I got to see it. I saw the photo of it. It looked like a little discus of funnel cake with jelly in
Exactly.
the middle.
It's
Dependent.
usually just powdered sugar from the traditional fairs, but it's like a funnel cake that hasn't
Okay.
been bird
Well, because
nested.
they have the jelly funnel cake as well, but all
Oh,
right, we're gonna go with the base. We're going off with base rate. Funnel cake
yeah.
batter with powdered sugar.
Yes. Yeah, but it's exactly the same thing, but there's something about the texture. You gotta
Where,
scoop. How long is this carnival in town?
dude? I think I might have to. If yesterday wasn't the last day, it's gonna be the last day probably within the next day, like today or tomorrow. So if I do it, I got to do this
You gotta scoop it.
ASAP.
Yeah. And then post.
Um, but yeah, we were talking, guys. We were talking last night, and I was like, well, I don't know. Funnel cake seems like it'd be better. Um.
I think it is better.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. It's just because it's so much more crunchier and like the air inside of it versus like the elephant ear. They have to do it perfect because it's a little bit thicker. Then the funnel cake's a little bit easier to get done. You know those carnival people, they don't
But,
care.
no, yeah, no, but hey, they throw down though. That was a bomb
They
ass.
do. They do.
It
I
was
shouldn't be talking about the carnival people. For all I know, your funnel cake people were fantastic. So
Everybody was wonderful. We had a
Mhm.
blast. I held down on like the snacks while everybody rode the rides. My
Okay.
niece, my brother, and his girlfriend were, they were riding rides, and I was like, don't mind if I do eat a candy apple while you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So like I was feeling terrible when I got home, but it was
Oh,
so worth it.
yeah. That happens.
Yeah, man. Well, shoot. It's been awesome talking to you, dude. Thanks for coming on the cast.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's great that we aligned.
Absolutely, and I
Yeah.
would like I like you to come back on. I don't want to just be like a one-time deal. Totally get you, get some updates, see
Oh, yeah.
what's going
Maybe
on
you'll
with
see my liquid cultures going because that's my next phase. So you might see some cool stuff.
cool.
And
I'm
maybe we'll
excited.
have an update with some barcoding. So hoping to get those whipped out.
So yeah, hell yeah, you already know. Thank you so much, bro. You know, it's an honor that you would want to be on the cast, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess I will, talk to you a little later, bro. Me.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, thank you again for having me.
All right, bud. I'll talk. Have a nice night,
You too.
and
Have a nice night. Yeah,
stay
I'll be seeing
classy
you.
and a little trashy, brother.
Oh, always. Always. All right. See ya.